Let's talk about the USA vs. France game at the World Ultimate Beach Championships. Nope, not that one. We're going to break down the Open Division pool play game, where the defending champions from the United States staved off a formidable French contingent that led for the entire game until the final point. I think there was one point that clearly defined the game, and it wasn't universe point. The first US break at 6-7 shows the level of defensive adaptation and grit that makes them so hard to beat. Let's set the stage up until this point. The French offense was lethal in the deep space for the first half. There were some common threads to the scores for France, both in how they were attacking and who was doing the damage. The offensive pattern that opened the French hucking game was throwers transitioning into deep cutters. Essentially long-range give-and-goes, these cuts can be particularly potent on the sand, where forcing the mark into a change in direction is often slower and positioning is harder to recover. France used this pattern twice when swinging off the break sideline to score deep. From the personnel perspective, the French goal scorers were Leo Stanguinex and Sasha Płatczykolski. Of the 6 first-half holds, the two combined for 5 goals. The only O-line goal not scored by either of this dynamic duo was easily the best block opportunity for the US.
Sent deep, it's Bouchon, and he does take it with the defense right in front.
For the first defensive point out of the second half, the US showed a clear intent to mitigate these cutting patterns and players. For the matchup adjustment, they assigned AJ Merriman to single coverage on Stanguinex, while the rest of the defense would have a more zonal and switching feel. You can see some deliberate techniques from Merriman to keep Stanguinex from cutting deep. First, when covering Stanguinex downfield, Merriman stays disciplined on the back hip and is more willing to concede the under to the sideline. And second, whenever Stanguinex releases the disc, Merriman uses his body to shield any deep cutting motion. Płatczykolski looks to get a similar no-deep treatment with his mark. Watch out of this stoppage how far Troy Holland rotates over top to force Płatczykolski away from the end zone. Some give-and-go motions would still trigger on this point, but the US would show more over-top help and proactive switching in these situations. When the French initiate their pattern here, you can see the deepest defender Thomas Edmonds proactively peel off his assignment to create enough uncertainty for the thrower to holster the huck. Here, another give-and-go triggers a switch for the US. Edmonds is spying over the top once again, and France is resigned to a reset. This is followed by another switch in the distance on a deep cut by Płatczykolski. All of these techniques come together here as Elliot Bonnet takes his shot at a give-and-go down the middle. The deep defender quickly absorbs Bonnet's cut, sacrificing free yardage to SPS and then Stanguinex in order to protect the end zone. After he throws, Merriman uses his body to stifle the immediate attack by Stanguinex. It's a bend not break approach, and in this instance, it worked. The French finally, over 2 minutes into the possession, got their first one-on-one look for the receiver in the end zone, and it's slightly off the mark. The difference in this shot from the clean looks that they got in the first half is evident, and these are the margins that can define a game. By keying in on where the deep threats were originating from and increasing the throw volume with a more deliberate backing defense, the US challenged the French O-line's energy and patience just enough to earn the victory. You can watch this game in its entirety in over 100 full games from the World Beach Ultimate Championships by becoming a subscriber at ultiworld.com/subscribe. Check out our YouTube channel and follow us on socials for more game analysis, recaps, and highlights.